gentlemen, this is Freedom Report. The broadcast will start shortly after this brief song.
I got arrested just a few days ago in a sting operation for my 13th time. My brother's 16th time. I mean, we are reading some Guinness Book of Records. This is unbelievable. I would never think that in Canada you would have to do this. It's unbelievable.
Stefanos, you're frozen. Oh man, they gotta change your modem.
1 hour later.
Now forgive my paper here, but you know what? When it's that song, you write on anything you get. God bless you. Amen. Thank you.
Very large crowd here. So, very large line of protesters, very large line of police and riot police who are actually moving further. But I was, just before I even turned this phone on, they weren't coming over this snow hill up here, but here, I'll show you everybody. Yeah, they're coming over this snowbank and they're going to want to push everybody out of here.
Ed, you're muted.
Well, I'm just going to start by saying I never expected to be the guy in front of the cameras, in front of the media. I just wanted to grill. I just wanted to run my business, sell our sandwiches and our platters of meat, give good job opportunities to people, and try to enrich my local community with the kind of food that I can make. I've been put in this strange position where I had no choice but to engage in civil disobedience. So.
A lot bigger crowd than Edmonton. I salute you all, freedom fighters. I'm a freedom-loving pathologist, and I've got a big career on the line here. I've spent my entire life in evidence-based medicine, being a good guy, a soldier for organized medicine, and then that's not good enough. I'm spreading, according to them, misinformation, except the only problem is they won't tell you what the information is that I'm misinforming you about.
But you told me that they had their safeties off, right?
Well, there was one guy standing there with the AR, there was kids around, and one fellow said, why do you have ARs, full tactical gear, with you when we're unarmed, and there's kids around?
Oh, there we go. Playing most games again.
Yeah.
So, so this is gonna be what you want to share out, guys.
Freedom Report has special guests like April Lejeune, Pat King, Conrad R.C. Goodser, Artur Pulowski, Misty Wind, Mike Martins, Chris Sky, Jason J. Manpachernik, Aaron Barker, Dr. Daniel Nagase, Adam Skelly.
And you have to prove that you have a lawful reason to be there. And I say your lawful reason is Section 6 of the...
You have a lawful reason to be here because you're a citizen of Canada.
That's right.
Everything about all the corruption and the voting scandals. Just wait till
they started coming in and taking people's stuff again, and I thought that was illegal. They just said that the first time. They're supposed to return everything.
Freedom Report. Broadcast starts now. Thank you for watching. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Freedom Report. This is Derek Story. We run Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Calgary time and 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Toronto time. Tonight we have Chris Sky on talking about Quebec legislation and stuff like that, things that passed. Ed?
Yeah, Derek, how's it going?
Not bad. I'm going to get that banner off.
Yeah, and let's get Chris on this. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight.
Sounds good.
Chris, how's it going? And thanks for coming on the show.
Great. How are you guys?
You got a wolf dog that's going to jump you any second, though.
No, I'm just watching my back.
Nice. So what's going on? A lot of excitement going on. Apparently Quebec's crying or something about people stealing their kids.
Bill 15. It's the right of parental primacy, and parental primacy is I guess, the belief that's been held virtually all through a democratic society that parents, biological parents, are the final word. We'll say in the authority over their children. But as we see with we're going more and more communist. Now they want to change that and have a collectivist outlook, where now every single person, including the state, is just as responsible for your children as you, and just as is validated in the decisions for the children as you. And they're using a case study where a stepmom abused a young girl and killed her as a way to pass this law. But if you look at it, it's like a 35-page document. And if you look at it, the primary thing they're trying to do here is get the idea across that parents are no longer the primary decision makers for the kids. Now the state and other parents and other people can be involved. And if you apply that to the COVID situation, it's not very far-fetched to believe that if you refuse vaccinations or masks for your children in Quebec, they can start putting you up with child service, protecting child, or putting your child at risk, et cetera, et cetera. And then maybe that doesn't mean they can just come and take your child right away, but it definitely means they can file complaints against you. They could come for house visits. They can do all kinds of things against you. And that's just for starters. And that's why parental primacy is one of the most important things in all of parental law anyway, in every country of the world. And for them to be getting rid of it and pretending like they're putting children first, no, this is just another way to intimidate parents into complying with what the state says, because the state just granted themselves so much power, and so many other people who agree with the state power to enforce what the state wants on your family. That's what this is all about. That's one of the reasons I'm going to Quebec. And I said I wasn't going to go back to Quebec until they got rid of the Vax Pass. And thankfully they did. They still have mask mandates, but those are supposed to be gone April 30th. And I'm actually getting there on May 1st. So we'll talk. That's the law that they passed there. And I believe they're going to try to do that kind of. And as we saw, they're passing injunctions.
Wow, your phone is glitching a lot tonight. Can you hear me? You're frozen. Schools are also pushing the same BS as well. They're pushing. Oh, you're coming back. You're still roboting. Yeah, you've been silent for the last minute. Yeah, you're back. Oh, you're gone. You're roboting again. Something wrong with your connection. Stefanos.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm just
Chris are using the same computer or what?
Using the same computer I always use.
No, you're roboting. Someone's gaming on your internet or something. You're back now, but you're frozen again. Let's see if we can fix it from this side.
One hour later. 1 hour later.
Oh, it worked.
Is it good?
Yeah. It
okay,
did work.
So I guess I got cut off where I was talking about the new laws they were putting up against protesting in the form of injunctions temporarily, they say, but then they just renew.
Whoa, you got cut off.
Alberta passed the Critical Infrastructure Defense Act, as well as Toronto or Ontario passing Bill 100, which is virtually the same thing. And now these are all basically versions of the Emergency Act. Now it makes protesting illegal in ways where they can steal your bank account, freeze your driver's license, your insurance, etc. And they're really putting pressure on Canadians at all angles, and they're setting up for another round of vaccines. If everyone knows what Bill Gates went for the TED Talk for, he spent 3 hours talking about vaccines and a lot of time trying to explain away so-called conspiracy theories against him owning patents on the vaccine and selling the vaccines to the countries with the highest bidding, and then obviously putting the biggest fear campaign and propaganda campaign together to sell as many vaccines as possible that he's all making money off of. But he denied all of that, which is absolutely ridiculous. So we had the big protest there. We came back. We're in Alberta now, and we're heading to Ontario because someone just posted there. They're doing Rolling Thunder. There's going to be a huge amount of bikers going over to Ottawa. They're going there for a ceremony and a slow roll, and we're hosting an event for them to hopefully get them in the fold, get them ready for the next big thing we're going to be doing in Ottawa, because this is our last summer. If we don't get on it this summer and we don't get rid of these mandates this summer, by the fall there's going to be a new lockdown, a new round of vaccines, new mandates, etc. I already warned people the mandates were coming back, and look at Ontario. They didn't even have masks on for a month, and already in the Ottawa schools, the masks are back for everyone. Hamilton's going to put them back in schools, and then guess what? All the other school districts are going to put them back, and by the time they're finished putting them back in the schools, they're going to be putting them back in all the so-called sensitive areas like public transit or indoors in small spaces, and then by the time fall comes around, you're already going to be mandated again. You didn't even realize it, and that's the goal. Only this time in fall, they're going to have all the mandates in place, and then they're going to have all these anti-protest bills in place. So you can't even protest about it, or you're going to go to jail. Then they're going to have these laws in place online that keep censoring the internet. I just got censored again on my Instagram. It was currently at Chris Sky Army 3, the number 3. That one's going to get taken down. So I made a brand new one just before this show at only Chris Sky. That's the only one, that and at Chris Sky Army 3 while it lasts. Those are my only Instagram accounts. And the only reason I'm keeping Instagram and the other social media platforms as much as I can is to try to get as many people to sign on to Friendavoo as possible. Please put it up on the screen. EVU. This is my media platform. This is where you will be safe. You will not have to worry about going in Facebook jail or getting fact checked or getting community guidelines violation or getting banned or losing your followers, etc., etc. And I literally had a video where I just explained the importance of free speech and explained why it's the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And that was removed as a community guidelines violation. That's how bad we need this platform. And if you think the censorship is bad now, wait till the fall when more and more people are suffering and they bring out an even newer and better vaccine. You can't talk about anything on social media. You can't talk about the 15 tennis players that didn't finish the Miami Open. You can't talk about the 3 cyclists that all collapsed within the last 2 weeks with heart conditions that were all jabbed. You're not allowed to talk about all these adverse reactions, as they call them, that are happening everywhere, all around the world, everywhere that people are taking this jab. And Canada is one of the only countries in the entire world that still has mandates in place for federal workers, still has mandates in place for travel. Look at the United States. There's no masks anywhere, not even at the airports, not on the airplanes. There's no mandates, no federal mandates, no travel mandates, no mandates whatsoever. Meanwhile, in Canada, we are led to believe that it's for our own health, safety, and security that we have mandates in place that segregate society into haves and have-nots based on how much they suck up to Justin Trudeau. Did you guys see the video circulating of him today that showed that he doesn't even know how to do simple arithmetic? He says he has a learning disability when it comes to calculations. He's like, oh, you know, the calculations that everybody does, the millions of calculations people do daily all on their own very easily without even thinking about them. I have trouble with that. So you can't even, he had trouble literally 13 plus 14 is 27. He had trouble coming to that conclusion in front of a general audience. And this is the man that's supposed to be in charge of the country. This is the man you listen to when you put a mask on, where you closed your business, where you took an injection and you walked around and acted like you were doing the right thing. We have less freedoms than they have in virtually every other country of the world right now. We cannot even leave unless we're jabbed, and they're telling us that we're free. And that's why I am going to Ontario, because now Ontario is going to be the next place they attack. I just came from BC. They finished off BC with the TED Talk to try to soften everybody up, to get the mandates back in place before the fall so they could really hit everybody with the digital ID, the mandates, and all the censorship online and the censorship of the protests. They think if they can do all those 4 things at once, let me say that again, a digital ID, a new vaccine passport, mandates in general, and then censoring social media and protests all at once at the same time, they can suppress dissent enough to get enough compliance that they can install the mandates and try to keep them virtually all fall, all winter. Because they know if they can get you on a 6 month of no freedom without enough people fighting back to make noise, they gotcha. And then by springtime, those mandates, those digital ID will be expanded and they will become a permanent fixture of society. And pretty soon, someone like me won't even be able to access the internet because our digital ID will be banned. And they won't even get you by IP address. They'll get you by digital ID. You won't even be able to go on Google. You won't be able to go on your own email. That's what this is coming to if we do not fight back now. People think that they're going to freedom. No, you are going to tyranny faster than any other country in the history of mankind. Canada is on the chopping block. And once again, if we do not solve the problem this summer, we're not going to have the tools left to fight back possibly in the winter unless people actually have a full-out revolution with the pitchforks and the torches and start dragging politicians out of their houses. And I don't want that kind of future. And I don't think they want that kind of future. In fact, I don't think anybody wants that kind of future. So what we need to do is we need to make people aware on a grand scale. We need to protect our rights on a grand scale. And the next province under attack is going to be Ontario. Ontario and BC are the two because they have the most money, they have the most power, they have the most influence, and unfortunately, they have the most compliant, densely populated cities of drones that need to be reprogrammed to like freedom. So we're going to Ottawa for Rolling Thunder on the 30th. The very next day, we are going to be in Montreal for May 1st. I don't know if you guys remember May 1st last year in Montreal, but there was hundreds of thousands of people marching. And this march is called La Fin du Mass, the end of the Mass, because the Mass was supposed to end the day before that. And we need to show that there's no such thing as Anglophones and Francophones. There is only Canadians. We need to bridge that gap. I will go and speak French if I have to show you people that we are one Canada and we need to stand united. Because if we can make us free while Quebec is getting rid of parental primacy, while they still have mandates, they still have vaccines, we're not free in Canada. We need all of Canada to be free and we need to work together for that. So May 1st, I'll be in Montreal. The events are going to be published. And then on May 6th, I'll be in Niagara Falls Friday, May 6th. Because they have a huge movement going there, and we got to keep it going strong. There's a lot of law enforcement backing the protest movements there, and I like that. And Niagara Falls is like a very niche city within a city, and it's a very, very strong movement. So it needs to be stoked and it needs to be expanded. Then we will be in Windsor on Sunday, May 7th. That one is going to be, or Saturday, May 7th, sorry. That one is going to be rowdy. That one is going to be a fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then we drive all the way from Windsor to Toronto that night, because on Sunday, we're going to be at Dundas Square on Mother's Day to remind Ontario that if you truly love your mother and you truly love your daughters and you truly love your family, that you're going to stand up as a man and you're going to fight. And the only way we can win this, and the only way we will win this, is when men, yes, men, I'm looking at you, decide that they will never put a mask on ever again. Never again close their business because Justin told them to. And they will never again get another poisonous injection for themselves or anyone in their family. I was on tour last week. One of my best friends was with me. His grandfather took the third jab while we were on tour. The very next day, this poor gentleman was in the hospital throwing up blood on his last days to live. And he was previously very healthy until he took not one, not two, but three of these jabs. And let's make no mistake, they're not going to stop at three. They're not going to stop until you're really sick or you're enslaved, one or the other. And you don't want to be either by this government. So that's what's going on. That's what they're trying to do. That's where we're going to be. And then after all that's done and I come back, there is going to be a second convoy. I'm only giving you guys a sneak preview of this. That's going to be heading back to Ottawa. Convoy that, if you know a man named Marcus Ray, he's been talking about it. He's been talking about their strategy. And they're going to go in there with a very determined and very detailed and very well thought out strategy that even with the passage of these new bills and all these so-called emergency laws that they could use, they will not be able to utilize them against this group in the way that they're going to come in. They're going to be doing everything lawfully, legally, very intelligently, and we need to give them all the support in whatever possible way, because this is where we make it or break it. This is where Canada becomes that beacon of freedom, or this is where Canada goes through a very, very, very rough time, and you're going to see rampant inflation. You're going to see completely dwindling opportunities in virtually every type of business. You're going to see government clamping down on every aspect of society, whether it's truth tellers, whether it's private business, whether it's alternative healthcare. They are going to take control over everything, and they're going to put you into their digital system where you will own nothing, be happy, because if you say anything that you're not happy, they will just flick a switch and shut you down. We are at that precipice. It is that bad here in Canada. It's going very well in places like the States. And they did that on purpose because they were ready to help us. Now they're just happy that they're free. And they're telling us to step up and free ourselves. And I really can't blame them. But they did a good job of taking the pressure off the United States. You think the Americans are ready to flood the border for you now that they have no more mandates? Now they're looking at Canada like, what the hell is wrong with you, pussies? Stand up for yourselves. And can you blame them? I can't. They got rid of everything. And we can't blame our Charter of Rights. And I want to talk about the Charter of Rights because everybody says, oh, the Charter of Rights isn't the strongest document we have. We have the Bill of Rights. And now, I don't know if that's true or not. But everyone's talking about it. So I have a person in Ontario that's actually using the Bill of Rights as their defense. So I'm going to follow that case and see what happens to him. Because if it works, it works. But as far as I know, it doesn't matter about the Bill of Rights. It doesn't matter about the Charter of Rights. It matters about what's right and what's wrong. And everything that they're doing to us is 100% wrong, legally, lawfully, morally, spiritually. And if you don't stand up and say no, that is you saying yes. It's that simple. They cannot succeed without you actively participating. And you choosing not to actively say no is the same as actively participating.
So, Stefanos, what happened to Jack Tuesdays? Remember, I think that guy used the Bill of Rights. Did he not? Stefanos, are you frozen too?
He looks
what
like
is
it.
going on tonight?
A few moments later.
He's
You're
still
back, Chris.
frozen. He's still frozen.
He likes to freeze
I don't know.
up.
I've been so far all the charges that they've been giving me, I've been beating or they've been postponing, and I haven't had to use the Bill of Rights to fight. I just used the normal law because everything they've done is completely unconstitutional, against the Charter. It's against human rights in general. It's against every type of law you can think of. Yeah, domestic, natural, international. And if we don't fight back now, by the fall, they're going to unleash that WHO treaty on us. The one that states in a pandemic, and believe me, they still declare that we're in a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. In a pandemic, the WHO supersedes the authority of the countries that signed on to this treaty. And Canada signed on to this treaty. So you're going to have absolutely no transparency, no accountability for your public health officials, because they're just going to say they're taking orders from the WHO, who has authority. And now, if you try to fight back or you try to resist, they're going to say you're breaching international law, and they're going to file a whole host of new charges on you. And it's
so before frozen, Ed, because you said my name. How dare you? So look. Chris, I have over 6,000 cases on the Bill of Rights because these people are listening to the idiots telling them to go on that. Just from 2020 to 2022 January, there's over 6,000 cases. Every single one of those stinking cases lost. Jack Tuesdays took it up the butt. We got it. We went through the whole case law and everything that happened. Bill of Rights does not apply to provincial things. It's only federal. And at federal, the judge even says in the ruling, if they want to circumvent it, they just say it doesn't apply to it. That's done. The Bill of Rights is actually weaker than the Constitution. And we have seen win after win after win on the Constitution from the JCCF. As of recent, the University of Ottawa, University of University of Toronto, and they just fighting Trudeau on the ban on flying without a vax passport and being taken straight to those quarantine camps. They now have won partially there. They're still going for it. The case isn't over, but the judge made an order. They must be given right to legal counsel So this is going over and over. The Constitution is very strong, it's powerful, and it's still kicking butt. And it's not up to the judge to invoke the notwithstanding clause. So people need to wake up with that garbage that they're being told. The judge will just say that and it's gone. That's BS, pure BS. And there's one case going around. They're trying to claim that the Bill of Rights won. Complete bullshit. The Bill of Rights did not win that case. It was thrown out. It was dismissed by the council. They withdrew the charge. That's it. If you don't see a case law saying the Bill of Rights won, it didn't win. It's garbage. Don't listen to that. I'd like to take the Bill of Rights and wipe my butt with it, because when I was suing the police, I tried to use that, and I told the lawyers that I had hired, and it was a team of lawyers. It wasn't just one. They told me no. The Bill of Rights hadn't won a case since God knows when. It's been a very, very long time. Don't fall for that garbage. They're giving you misinformation, and the person that's pushing that, who's a licensed person, they are not even supposed to be giving legal advice, which they're doing on anything in federal, anything in the Superior Court, because unless they have a lawyer that works at their firm, they're not even allowed to even talk about that stuff. It goes against the rules and the bylaws of the Law Society of Ontario. Don't get trapped into that. You're gonna be the sorriest person. And it said it right in the case law. We went through the whole thing here. Does not apply to provincial offenses. Anything that's got to do with provincial.
What if you applied it to the federal travel mandates?
Federal travel mandates, you can try it, and guess what will happen? As the judge said, they'll just say it doesn't apply to it, and see ya. There's no protection there. The federal mandates is properly being taken care of by the JCCF on the Constitution, which they are making gains, and I suspect they will be victorious in this, because it is a blatant infringement on Section 6 of the Charter, our mobility rights. Notwithstanding clause has not been invoked, so everything's alive and well. So
doesn't it also set precedents when we have multiple case law from around the world that's like the United States that just ruled it unconstitutional?
No, actually, no. What only applies is Canadian. That's it. U.S., everything else doesn't. The only time they'll use case law in other countries is as a bit of a guide if there are no rulings in Canada already. So only Canadian case law applies to Canada.
What about when they try to? The real reason I brought that up is if they try to impose that international treaty with the 100 countries that have signed on to it, because then international case law has no choice but to set a precedent.
Wrong again. So international laws have no authority in Canada. We've seen this multiple times, especially over in Afghanistan, when they've tried to bring anything under international law, this UN garbage, the UN drip, all this crap that people have been trying to push, all lose. They have no standing in law here because we're a sovereign country and a sovereign people, and the UN are a bunch of unelected bureaucrat Marxist pieces of garbage, and they have no authority here. This is why our elected idiots are trying to now make legislation that builds this stuff in. Still loses. The only time Canada has lost in this kind of stuff was in Afghanistan, and it was held in Afghanistan against Canada. That's why they lost, because they were mistreating the terrorists that were being detained and tortured and crap that was going on over there. But when they bring something to Canada, it loses every single freaking time, period. They have no standing in law here. They're nothing. Garbage.
So here's my theory on the Bill of Rights. People that are pushing that, they've been misled. They're selling them smoke and mirrors. There's people that are trying to infiltrate the groups. We're being attacked all the time. So why not get people believing and hoping in the Bill of Rights? They go to court, boom, $27,000 fine. Then that person is humiliated, and the people that are backing them, like, oh, great, so now we're done.
Like I said, I never tried it. I just wanted to talk about it because I keep hearing more and more people talk about it.
Yeah, Chris, and that's very unfortunate, because we are showing the case law, and I'll send me an email so I don't have to dig through my over 16,000 emails, and I'll send you a link with all the cases in there. Go through them from 2020 to 2022. And Thomas, no, I'm not trying to trump Chris. Chris is a freaking great guy. He asked me a question. And
I was leading him on because I wanted him to say exactly what he said, that once they try to bring that international law, that we can all just say no, and it has even less legal precedent than the emergency orders that we're already beating around in virtually every case. That's why I was asking those questions.
And I back
they were loaded questions, guys.
I always wear Chris's hat because I back him. He's a freaking outstanding guy. Of everybody that's fighting out there, Chris is the one that's doing the correct way.
And I just happened to steal the first "Just Say No" T-shirt off of Chris.
Okay, now Ed just trumped me there. I'm finished. All right, I'm leaving the show. That's it.
Yeah, but I stole mine. You probably paid for yours.
No.
No.
I didn't pay for mine either. I had a whole bunch of them here at the studio.
So like as somebody earlier said, protests aren't working. I'm going to disagree with you on that, because look, protests are working. The truckers around the world, everybody stood up. Everyone's still standing up here, and the truckers didn't disappear. Trust me, people, they didn't go home and go cry in a corner somewhere. There's things in the making. I won't say right now. I'm not at liberty to, but when time is right, you're going to hear about it. It's big, and I thank every single one of them for getting involved in it. Usually,
and every Canadian's responsibility is to get involved with it, because at this point, if you don't understand that you are at war and you are a soldier, whether you like it or not, well, that's the reality. And you don't have to pick up a gun and go fight like your ancestors did, a real war. No, you just have to stand up for yourself and say, I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to take a jab. I'm not going to close my business. And I'm going to come and stand up beside other men and other women who feel the same way. And we're not going to back down until our government does what the people say, because that's what the government's job is. The government's job isn't to talk down to you, isn't to patronize you, isn't to protect you or keep you safe. The government's job is to do what the hell we tell them to do. And we're telling them to take these goddamn federal mandates away so we can live our lives, we can work, we can travel, and we can have a prosperous nation for the future of our children and their children.
Right.
It's really that simple. And if they're going to demonize that message, good luck.
Yeah, they're public servants. What's that tell you? They're servants to us. We're not their slaves. They are there to provide us with services that we want and need. They're not there to dictate to us and tell us what we are going to do. None of that crap. That's absolutely wrong on so many levels. and we're seeing this, more prevalent now than ever before. One good thing that's come out of all this fake pandemic is the corruption and the communist infiltration of our governments on all levels of government, not just on one.
Oh, yes. And let's talk about Pierre Poilievre, because everybody wants to say he's like some kind of savior. Number one.
Are we going to mention the fact that his picture got taken off of the website?
He was on the World Economic Forum website all the way up until 2021, when it became politically unsatisfactory. Just for optics. Number two, of course I'm breaking up now. I'm about to shit talk their golden boy. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, say number one again.
Testing. So number one, he was on the World Economic Forum website until 2021, when it was until it was politically unsatisfactory, and he had himself removed. Number two, he's married to Venezuelan aristocracy, one of the most corrupt countries in the world, which we are being modeled into in a socialist, communist style dictatorship. And you want to marry somebody and make them the first lady of our nation that is coming from a communist country. That's a beautiful idea. And she's not just some normal person. She's from a very wealthy, very prominent, politically connected family in Venezuela. Why don't we just elect Hillary Clinton? Next, he's also in a picture with Bill Gates, arms around, praising the wonderful work he's doing with vaccines all the way back in 2015. So while Bill Gates is poisoning and testing his bioweapons on children in Africa because they're too weak and too broke to fight back, Pierre Poilievre is bigging him up on his Facebook account. Yeah, this is a guy we're supposed to trust. A guy that all for the mandates until the trucker convoy happened and he saw that he could jump on a bandwagon and get some support. A guy that, okay, I'll admit that he's been critical of Trudeau financially, but come on, so has everybody else under the sun, even Trudeau's own people. So Pierre Poilievre, he is as fake can come. And what did he do most recently? He made an I stand with Ukraine post. Yeah, well, our government just sent, what, $500 million so they could buy weapons to go to war against Russia? That's really smart. And now Trudeau just promised to send heavy artillery to Ukraine to go to war. Supposed to be the other side of the argument, stating how he stands with Ukraine. Whenever there's a situation where the government all on the same side, like they were with COVID, until we forced them to have a fake opposition with the trucker convoy, and now with Ukraine, that is the propaganda of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And the only reason they switched over to Ukraine is because the 24/7 COVID wasn't working anymore. People had COVID fatigue. What that meant was people had bullshit fatigue, and they just got tired of hitting the same lies over and over and over and over again. So they had to switch to some new lies. And as you see, it's working perfectly. You still have all the wearing masks. I saw 75 people in Edmonton wearing masks. No mask mandated in Alberta, but because the mayor of Edmonton says he wants people to wear masks, the vast majority are still wearing masks. When I went to BC, I went to certain malls where there was no mask mandates. There was still almost 100% of people wearing masks. When I go to Ontario, guess what I'm going to see? People still wearing the masks because, number one, they don't want to pretend like they got played for fools for the last 2 years and wore it like idiots, so they'd rather just keep believing it, number one. Number two, some people just like it because they don't like they like that anonymity. Like some people are weird like that. So they'll just wear it because of that. And then you have the people that are still wearing it because they're scared. And those are the ones that are far and few between. The vast majority of people wearing it are still wearing it because they realize if they stop wearing it, the entire last 2 years of them wearing it was all because they were complete idiots. So rather than admit they're complete idiots, they're just going to it's so easy for the government to reinstitute all the mandates, and 99.9% of all the same people that complied last time are going to comply again. The only sticking point they are going to have is to try to convince everyone to take a third, fourth, fifth dose of vaccine. So what they're going to do, and I said this before, is they're going to come out with a vaccine, and they're going to try to reset the whole vaccine thing. So they're going to try to tell you just got to take one more. And this one will be good for at least a year. And you might only have to take one every year at that point. And that's how they're going to sell it. And when they combine that with the pandemic, mask mandates, digital IDs, vaccine passport, travel mandates that they're still going to have in the mirrors, that's what they're going to get 70+% of the population to go along with it. Then all the mandates and this friggin' nightmare gets extended for yet another year. And once it's extended for that other year, they'll be able to nicely transition from the pandemic to the climate change catastrophe. And by then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I'll probably have to flee Canada. And I say flee because by then we're still not going to be able to leave legally. And I won't feel bad anymore because I've given you guys years. I've given you all the tools. I made a friggin' social media site for you. If I get off this friggin' interview after 2 hours, or I'm going to leave in an hour actually because I have other things I have to do, unfortunately. I only got like 4 days before I have to go back on tour again. If I don't go on Friendavoo and at least see dozens and dozens of new requests, I know that Canada's not ready to stand up. Because if you don't even have the drive to type in friendavoo.com and create a new account while you've been on Facebook for how many years, Instagram for how many years, all these things for how many years, and you don't take it that seriously when you see someone like me get banned over and over and over again, and you've had to re-add me 25 times, and every single time you post, you subconsciously and even consciously censor yourself because you don't want to go to Facebook jail or you don't want to get banned. So if I don't see dozens and dozens of people, and I don't see you posting on your social media, hey, everybody, join Friendavoo, save your free speech, then I know we're lost. Because you can do that in 5 seconds from sitting in your chair on your phone. And we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching and knowing about it. So why aren't they getting at least a couple people each to get on there? If everybody actually did their part with this and just woke people up and got people to download it, in a couple of months, there'd be millions and millions of people on there. It would be too big to stop. And we would have a true voice of freedom and a true free speech platform all around the world. All the other platforms are not doing it. You can pretend like they are, but they're not. So everybody constantly says, oh, what can we do? What can we do? Well, I tell you all, never put a mask on again. Never take another injection. Never close your business again. And download and promote this app for free speech. You do every one of those things, and you can do every one of those things literally sitting there right now. What does it cost you to not put a mask on? A possible confrontation. What does it cost you to not take a jab? Absolutely nothing. What does it cost you not to close your business? Maybe a confrontation. And by the way, a business owner that actually had a set of balls in Alberta, I'm not going to name him because I want him to finish up his fight. He did not close his business, and it was a restaurant. He kept in dining. He kept no vax pass, and he did not close his doors. It's pretty impossible to keep public health out of a restaurant because he wasn't locking his doors. So they came in and they charged him no less than 5 separate times. He has 5 separate court cases against public health, and so far he's already won 3 out of 5. So who was the smart one? You, who closed your door for months on end, lost tens of thousands of dollars, probably had to close your doors, or him, who stayed open, made money, made even more money because he got the support of the community. And now, not only did he make money, got the support of the community, stood up for himself and was a hero, he's going to be the case law that sets the precedent for all the other business owners to know that if they fight back, they can win. So when everyone asks, what can you do? Do I need to say it again? Never put a mask on. Never take another jab. Never close your business. And download Friendavoo and get it on all. Take the link, friendavoo.com, and post it on all the Facebook groups you're in. Post it on your Instagram story. Post it with a picture of me, and post it with a video of yourself saying why you joined. Why is free speech important to you? That's what I want people to do. I want a viral campaign where people make a video, said, I joined Friendavoo because, and just put a link to it and post it on your social media and share that crap everywhere. Because you'll see the power we have in numbers. And we need to do this now, not 6 months from now. 6 months from now, Canada is not even going to be Canada anymore. It's going to be Justin Trudeau's little China to dictatorship that he's been pushing towards. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. They had 2 years to implement everything they wanted, and they got every single agenda through. We stopped them momentarily with a trucker convoy. So they pivoted. They adjusted. Now they're making new laws and new legislation in place to give themselves more power and take away your power to fight back. And then they're going to come even harder than last year. So if you thought last year was bad, if you thought the beginning of this pandemic was bad, just look at what they're doing to China right now. Did everybody see what they're doing in China? A lockdown so bad where you're not even allowed to go to the grocery store. A lockdown so bad that they have facial recognition robots that will identify you if you walk out on your balcony. A lockdown so bad suits with long fork-like things. Pardon?
You're freezing up. Mao took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Chavez took the guns.
Hitler
took the guns.
Yeah,
China has no guns. China has nothing. In fact, you know what they listen to all day in China? They have drones on loudspeaker playing this. And I want you to listen very carefully. This is what it says in English. Resist your soul's desire for freedom and obey COVID restrictions. Let me say that again. Resist your soul's desire for freedom and obey COVID restrictions. And by obey COVID restrictions, they mean stay home, don't leave your house for anything, not even to get food, and rely on the government, the Chinese Communist government, to bring you to your doorstep everything you need for you and your family to survive. That is how much control they have. And that is exactly what they want here. They want you to be so dependent and so under their thumb that they can literally keep you in your house to starve to death and depend on them to give you a few scraps so your family doesn't die. And they want you to, that will literally sit there and watch your children and your wife starve to death rather than go out and disobey the government. That's where we're headed. We're not that far behind. And that's not some dystopian reality. That's Shanghai, China right now. And now across the world, there's already about 500 million people back on lockdown. And we're in friggin' April, guys. April. This is where it's supposed to be ending, and they're supposed to be giving you your freedoms back. You guys were celebrating no vax pass, no mask, and now there's 500 million people around the world, 500 million people on lockdown way worse than we had before, and it's the exact same pattern that started March 2020, happening April 2022. And rather than even be awake to it, the average person is acting like they're free as birds when they're complete prisoners in their own country. It is sickening. It is sickening.
Yeah, look, Ed or Derek, one of you, could you put the friend of you link in the chat instead of just up on the screen so people can maybe actually copy and paste it? I'm seeing a whole bunch of people, they can't get on, so obviously they're typing it in wrong. Then they can
it's easy, guys. Friend EBU. If you have a Google phone or an Android phone, you can even download it, the app from the Play Store. Apple has not yet let us put the app on the Play Store. It's ready and functional, but they're worried because it's not censored. And Apple wants complete censorship and complete control over all their products, which is why I've never used Apple in the first place. But for all you Apple users or desktop users, you could just go to friendofvoo.com and download the browser version. It's just as fast, works just as good, has all the same features as Facebook. You can go live. You could talk to people via Messenger. You could talk to people via video chat. You can call people. You can post any type of status update. You don't have to worry about it getting censored. The only thing you can't do is break the law, like tell people that you're going to kill them, etc., things like that. Other than that, you can say Justin Trudeau is the biggest loser alive. You can say this is the most dangerous vaccine, non-vaccine, poisonous bioweapon ever created. And you don't have to worry about getting shadow banned, fact-checked, etc. That is the most important thing in the world. Once again, it's the reason why it's the First Amendment in the United States Constitution. Guns was number 2. Free speech was number 1. Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Remember when they said the pen is mightier than the sword? There you go.
Hey, Chris, I'm just wondering, I'm going to ask you something here. Did you hear about, we had Jason Etsy or whatever the hell his name is, come on the show, and as soon as Ed said my name, and it was supposed to be a show about the Bill of Rights versus the Constitution, as soon as Ed said my name, he vanished like a ghost, gone. And the next day, he talked shit about the show and everything. And he had told Ed he dropped his phone or something stupid like that.
But that guy's a joke. That guy makes videos about me. He makes videos about anybody prominent in the freedom movement. There's lots of losers like that. They're complete parasites. They have nothing to offer the movement. So they try to make a name for themselves by bashing someone who's actually accomplishing something.
Right.
You just have to go back to the saying, you never get criticized by somebody doing more than you. And he's one of those losers. Like, he was talking smack about my family. He didn't even know who my wife. He didn't even know I was married. And he was talking smack about my relationship. Like, I've been married for 8 years, guys. And this guy's pretending like he knows who I am, and he doesn't even know that. So this is how stupid those people are. I don't give those people the time of day. That's what they want. They want you to mention them so they can get a few more followers. And I don't even deal with losers like that, because just like they disappeared off the show. What do you think would happen if you met one of them in person? They'd disappear even faster.
Yeah, they had a coacher trying to tell them all this stuff, and then they had to tell them that you were married and stuff. So but these are the people who are making people go to the Bill of Rights when it doesn't even apply. I remember some idiot, I can't remember who it was, but Rocco Galati was doing a press conference, and they asked him about the Bill of Rights, and he told them right then and there, it doesn't apply. And this is how these people are, there's people down in Niagara that I know that are going up.
Oh, Derek, you going to unfreeze him?
1 hour later.
Thank you.
He's still
a few moments later.
Yeah, as I was saying,
The French one works, all right.
so they, there's people down in Niagara that are going up on provincial offenses, and I'm telling them, don't do it on the Bill of Rights. You're going to lose, but they won't listen. This is how deeply they have entrenched themselves and have brainwashed these people. The legal person who's licensed by the Law Society, I'll encourage every single person who has lost based on their legal advice to go on the Bill of Rights, bring a complaint to the Law Society on them, and then sue the living piss out of them and make sure these people get disbarred. There's absolutely no freaking reason that they should be telling. And again, that's not even in their scope of practice. They shouldn't even be opening their mouth on it because they're so stupid that they're telling people to do this. Jurisdiction is everything, and when you don't have jurisdiction, it's just going to get tossed out. And again, Chris, thanks for everything you're doing and pushing everything out there. I look up to you quite a bit.
Thank you. And that was my profile on Friendavoo that Derek was just playing on. So as you can see, it's really good. And yes, people need to understand that the only way, you have to be willing to take that charge. You have to be willing to take that offense and willing to go to court. If you're not even willing to do that, that's why you're not going to take off that mask. That's why you're going to take that jab. That's why you're going to close your business. But if everybody was willing to do that, they couldn't do it to everybody. And they wouldn't do it to you. It's not like we're asking you to be the front lines of people getting shot, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about you standing up and getting a fine that you will win in court. Like, have we been diminished to that level of naivety and childlike behavior that you're that afraid to stand up for what's right? Everybody at this point knows what's right and wrong. It's getting more ridiculous every day as more and more countries around the world get free. The CDC just relinquished their do not travel to every single country around the world. So the CDC says it's safe to travel to every single country around the world. The WHO doesn't have any travel advisories for any of the first world countries for COVID. There's no more mask mandates virtually anywhere. There's no more travel restrictions virtually anywhere. But Canada, we are so special, we are so safe, and we are so healthy that we have to have these federal mandates in place that put millions of people out of work, make it impossible to leave the country, impossible for people to visit, and try to coerce us all into a vaccination and digital identity society modeled after Ukraine. Why do you think they're pushing Ukraine so much? Why do you think they're giving so much money to Ukraine? Where do you think all that money is really going? You think they're going to use it to buy weapons so they could go against Vladimir Putin? No, they're using it to fund the agenda of the World Economic Forum. Ukraine is now the first country in the world to activate their digital ID and digital vaccine passport, which they are now going to try to implement all across Europe. And then once it's in Europe, they're going to try to implement it globally. And our government is working directly with the World Economic Forum, Air Canada, and KLM Airlines to implement this global passport in the Schiphol Amsterdam Airport, Toronto Pearson airports, because these are two of the biggest international hubs in the world, and they have two of the most compliant populations in the world. So they believe that if they can get enough people to go along with it voluntarily, just like the vaccine or the mask, then they will mandate it. And once they mandate it, you're never leaving Canada unjabbed, ever again. They will now literally own you like livestock, and you will never get out of this country. And if you try, they will probably try to arrest you at that time. That's where this is headed. And we're not talking about years. We are talking about months. They have already had their years of planning. They've already had 2 years to test it out and implement it. They saw your reactions. They gauged them. They're making new laws to prevent those type of reactions. And then they're going to come harder than ever before. I don't know how else to tell you this. I've told you a million times, and I'm going to tell you how to stop it once again. Don't put the mask back on, not on your kid, not on you. Don't accept a vaccine pass, a vaccine mandate, or a vaccine in general. And do not close your business. When you perpetuate the problem, you are the problem, and you have no excuse anymore. You're not afraid of COVID. We know there's no virus. It's safe all around the world except Canada. And they only pretend it's not safe here because they know that you'd rather pretend it's not safe here then actually stand up for yourself. And that has to change. That attitude has to change, and it has to change by the end of this friggin' episode in the next 2 minutes. And like I said, if I go on Friendivu and I don't see at least dozens of new requests on Real Quick Sky and hundreds of new members in the next few days, it's growing every day, don't get me wrong. In fact, the only reason I haven't started a marketing campaign yet is I'm afraid to crash the system, and then everybody's going to say it sucks and doesn't.
How much
I'm letting it.
How much room do you have? Oh man, what is going on with your internet? Come on, play the French one, unfreeze them.
A few moments later.
A few moments later.
1 hour later.
The one
No,
after almost worked.
They're still roboting, Chris. So Stefanos, the Bill 15, we have the equivalent here in Ontario, do we not?
So yes, I was just actually
No, not Bill 15. You have Bill 100.
I was waiting for Chris to finish here, and Bill 15 in Quebec. I'm listen, people. I'm really dumbfounded that people do not know that Ontario has this bill already implemented, and is whoa, what was that, Derek?
That's Derek's.
So what's happening here is Bill 15 is nothing new. This tells me that no one pays attention to politics. I've said it a million times. Love it, hate it, pay attention to it, because that is controlling your life. Bill 15 is nothing new. We've seen the, I can't remember the father's name in Alberta, whose daughter decided she was going to transition into a male. He was arrested because he wouldn't stop speaking about it and speaking out against what was going on. He ended up serving a prison sentence. He's been gagged. I believe he's not allowed to talk about it now until his daughter reaches the age of 18. Daughter for now, biologically daughter, transitioning to a boy. They've been pumped full of the hormone blockers, the stuff that destroys your body, and transitioning into a male. So no matter what you stick into their body, they will always be female. Their body, their bones, their muscle structure, everything will never be a male. And if it will continue to be a female, it will just destroy their life, complicate it horribly. But hey, the way I look at it, who am I to stop them? As a father or a mother, yeah, there's reason to try to speak up against it and try to stop it. But Ontario, during Kathleen Wynne, when she was a premier, she brought in the co-parenting bill, and that bill made changes from the criminal code to the Child Welfare Act to you name it. They removed the name of the words mother and father, and they try to replace it with parent. It actually makes the province a parent of your child. This was in Ontario, so we're going back to Kathleen Wynne days, all right, people? Doug the cheesecake eating Ford, he said he would get rid of all these bills. He's not repealed anything, made no change to anything. As a matter of fact, he's more of a liberal than Kathleen Wynne was. So people see that libertarian sign? Make that vote count in this provincial election. We're going to be repealing a lot of stuff and bringing Canada back to where it should be, or at least Ontario, bring it back to where it should be so we can prosper. Right now in Ontario, if your child comes up to you and says, Mom or Dad, I'm not a girl, I feel like I'm a boy, and you tell that child, don't be silly, you're a girl, you're not a boy, You can have child welfare services come in and take your child away from you. You will be charged under the criminal code for just saying that line. If you try to push any religious beliefs, you will be charged yet again. And under the Education Act of Ontario, if your child goes and approaches someone at the school and tells them, I don't think I'm a girl, I should be a boy, the school will set up, without your permission, without you knowing anything, the school will set up all the operations, all the procedures that need to be done, and they will also pay for it and transition your child to a gender that they are not. Again, my own position is do whatever the hell you want. But we already know scientifically that a person's mind does not develop. The section of your mind, that portion that tells you what is right from wrong, does not completely develop. So you can't tell what's right and what's wrong until you're in your 20s, 21, something around there. So when you have a kid in high school, 14, 16, whatever, being told this kind of garbage and they're being pushed this way and they make that decision, welcome to that poor father in BC, and my heart goes out to him for the fight to try to save his child, because these blockers do massive damage to the body. They're not going to enjoy a full life. So there is no difference of Bill 15 and why all of a sudden everyone's up in arms about Bill 15. Just tells me that no one in Ontario pays attention to the co-parenting bill that was brought in, and Ford has let it sit to go forward. And it is another omnibus bill. Child Welfare Act, the Ontario Education Act, the Criminal Code. I believe it was Bill 8. Don't quote me on that. I haven't checked that out, but I believe it was Bill C8. And somebody earlier in the show, I wanted to address it, but we got a little sidetracked, said, what's the difference between Bill C100 and Bill 100? Well, Bill 100, because there's no letters in front of it, is a provincial bill. Bill C100 is a federal bill, and that bill is actually an agreement between Canada, the United States of America, and the United Mexican States. So when you get letters in front of a bill, that's a federal bill. When you see something that just says bill and then a number, that's a provincial bill. So
the C is for the House of Commons. So Commons.
Yeah, and S is for the Senate. So
if the Senate initiates it, it'll have an S in front of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the difference. Guys, I don't know what to say to anything, but the Canadians need to wake the hell up. And not only that, when we're seeing all these unconstitutional bills coming in, we have no one to blame. We can't blame government. We need to blame ourselves because we haven't taken a stand. We're all sitting back thinking somebody else is going to take that fight on for us. Doesn't happen. Again, I'm going to go back to the victim surcharge. Criminal courts struck down as unconstitutional, but the government keeps nailing you in traffic courts. Who cares if it's a $50 fine? Don't sit there and pay it just because of that. Put the money out. If you can afford it, you challenge the victim surcharge. It's unconstitutional on every single darn level of government. You have to challenge that because these crony dictators are going to keep going on and pushing forward. Again, I'm gonna, truckers, protesters, all the people in Ottawa, thank you. I don't care what part of Canada you're from. When you were there, thank you for what is coming forward. And I'm glad you're standing up. This is what we have to do. We have to stand up. Bill 100, taking away your right to protest. So in Ottawa, the trucker protests before the injunction, when the injunction was put on them, the courts ruled it was a lawful injunction. When the government, I'm going to say this, I believe it was the government, this Lexi, whatever the hell her name was, who was a government employee, I believe that the city of Ottawa or someone in government paid her to tell her to bring this $306 million lawsuit against a trucker convoy. It's really a slap suit. It's an attempt to silence the truckers. And that was thrown out. We all heard about that. That case is gone. And the judge ruled then again that it was a lawful protest because we have this thing called the Canadian Constitution that enables us to have what? Peaceful assembly. Leslie, whatever your name is, last time, I'm not even going to try to say it. Joan Sharf, forget Joan Sharf. All right? Forget the Bill of Rights. It's not going to happen. We've seen this over. I have over 6,000 cases since 2020 to 2022 January that shows the Bill of Rights took a crap kicking and has failed every single time. Forget those people. They are working against you. Thank you, Joan Sharp. You're absolutely correct. This is the kind of insanity that we're seeing, the division being put in by paid opposition or just the opposition, and that's the cause divide. When you have people trying to stand on the Bill of Rights over and over and are losing over and over, what does that tell you? You're setting a precedent. You're setting it in stone that the Bill of Rights do not apply. It is a very weak document, and from day one has been very weak. Look at the history. Look at the cases when the Bill of Rights first came out. The native one, you natives out there who are not allowed to drink, to this day, you are not allowed to drink way up north in the Yukon. If you have alcohol, you'll be arrested. Wake up, people. Don't fall for this garbage.
Okay, hang on. I want to address this comment right now. So, Stefanos, you're going to be starting another multi-party lawsuit. So you can only fight legally if you're rich. Most are not rich, but working class, good people who live to pay. So here's the thing. With a multi-party lawsuit, it gets split amongst what, 20, 30 people?
So
$60,000 lawsuit?
So look,
Pat King's already raised that himself. He's got a legal fund of, I think it's around 60 grand. I'll get to that later. But explain to people what the benefits of a multi-party and the fact that you can fundraise for class action or multi-party lawsuits.
So I'm going to encourage every single person who had backed the trucker convoy in Ottawa, who has made donations. I'm going to encourage every single one of you, when a multi-party for these people standing up there, bring in action against government on all levels for what they've done, the injustice, the unconstitutional actions that they done when the protest was deemed lawful, not only in the injunction, but again, in this case that they attempted to silence the truckers was deemed lawful. Guys, I can't believe anyone is out there that has been listening to the Prime Minister and his speeches and every other level of government that says we must protect democracy, we must protect our freedom of speech. And at the same breath, they are saying we must infringe and prevent you from having protests. So in order to protect democracy, are you freaking kidding me? Are you guys kidding me? Like, seriously, I hope that when something does happen and some people do take action, that you will back them by donations wholeheartedly when they go forward with an action against the government for the infringements on the Constitution and what they have done against the Canadian people. A multi-party lawsuit. The first thing they teach us, I'll tell you this much. When I was doing my legal studies, they always said the cost of the court case is a non-factor at the start, because you have to see, costs are never, you can't predict them. And depending on the complexity of the case, how complex it is, how much work has to go in with it, by case law research. So all the research, no legal person is going to take on a case without doing any legal research. That's the first thing. So we're
So as far as Pat King is in jail. It's over day 50 already. There is a small team, and I've been talking to these people probably a couple times a week. Again, doing whatever little I can to help out Pat and assist these people. But he's got someone really, really watching his back. And it puts a big smile on my face every time I talk to this guy. He's asked to keep it quiet, but there's going to be some stuff breaking. And go take a look at the Real Pat King on Facebook. There's a few posts out there that will put a smile on your face. There's going to be something breaking within the next few days. And it's going to put a big smile on your face. So don't think for a moment they are breaking laws like crazy with Pat's what they're doing to Pat. But just sit tight, guys. Heads are going to be rolling, and I don't mean that literally, but figuratively speaking. Let's just keep supporting Pat. And again, whatever the people that are backing him telling me to do, I'll be doing it. So when there's stuff to be released, expect something to come out next week. It's going to be huge.
right. So again, I'm going to address a multi-party lawsuit. A multi-party lawsuit is treated as one lawsuit. So the more people you have in it, the cheaper it becomes for you, because the costs and everything are spread equally amongst all the people in there. And we throw some backing to that. We crowdfund, we fundraise for them. It becomes cheaper yet even more. Don't forget, people, the ones that are standing up here are standing up for every single freaking Canadian in Canada. Whether they're on the left, the right, the center, whatever, doesn't matter. Even the people against us, they don't realize it right now, but their rights are being stripped away from them. You have to understand, when you get so many people involved in a lawsuit, the expense of that lawsuit is, negligible, because it does not become such a burden on them. And when we crowdfund and we back them, even better. Don't forget, as Chris was saying earlier, you have to stand up for yourself. And if you're not willing to be arrested, if you're not willing to stand up by getting arrested and appearing before the courts, at least back them monetarily. I always say over and over, all the constitutional um, um, infringements that are going on are affecting every single one of you, whether you're arrested or not. They're stripping you away. Somebody up there said Pat perjured himself. Absolutely false. I will disagree with you, and I want you to provide me with factual evidence that Pat perjured himself. Just so you all understand, in the legal system, perjury is a charge, one, that can only be laid by the Attorney General of Canada. Two, after a case is heard. Pat is not had a trial, so that is absolutely false. And I'll challenge you to provide me with any evidence that you think that Pat's trial, which hasn't happened yet, Pat perjured himself. That's an all-out right falsehood on your behalf. You shouldn't say stuff like that unless you have absolute proof of it. And I'm not picking on you, just so you know. I'm just saying factually, under a legal basis, there is no basis because Pat has not had a trial. So how can he perjure himself when he's not had a trial? That's just a bowl of BS right there.
Guys, I haven't been following this just a little bit, but again, it's in BC, and all I can say is there's a lot of military, ex-military, that are organizing all over the country. We don't hear about it much, and maybe they want it that way. But
Ed, I'm going to tell everyone, do not ever say that you are a militia or training. That is a criminal offense in Canada. Can you imagine that? In the US, they are allowed to have militias. You know, Ed, Derek, Kevin, all of us could get a group of people and train and become a militia and have training if we were in the US. But in Canada, if you so much as just train, that is a criminal offense. How crazy is that? So
didn't they ban paintball or something like that?
there was some paintball guns in the unlawful, illegal order in council gun grab that the Liberal government has done. That, by the way, that whole narrative is falling apart faster than you can believe it. If any of you are thinking of voting Liberal on the upcoming provincial elections, give your head a damn shake. This Del Duca nutcase, the leader of the provincial Liberal Party, is saying he's going to ban handguns right off the hop. That's something that he does not even have the jurisdiction to do under the province. That's a federal issue. Firearms are federal, nothing to do with provincial. So don't back him. You make sure, when I do run, I haven't got my papers in yet, but I will be putting them in soon. I will be running. You guys in Niagara, I don't give a crap if you're from Niagara West or not. Show up at my debates if they even allow me. And if they don't allow me, I'm showing up anyways. If they want to arrest me, please do. I'm going to stand on the Constitution. I will enforce my constitutional rights. But I would love to have every single one of you backing me and supporting me in what I'm doing, because I'm enforcing the right for any single person in Canada to run for office. I'm not going to sit back anymore and take this garbage. It's time we stand back. We got, or not stand back, sorry. We got to stand up. It's time we enforce our rights. And I'm very well willing to go to jail if these effers want to charge me for showing up at a debate. Please do. Law enforcement knows nothing about law, but people with legal backgrounds know about law. That's the big difference, people. The jackboots know nothing about law. They're just about enforcement. So back me, please back me, Niagara West. And again, if you're not Niagara West, come out anyways. You're going to see some crap fly this election. I got two degenerate mayors actually running. Doug Joyner, he was my mayor in West Lincoln. Complete piece of garbage. I knew he was liberal. People were saying no, but yes, he's the candidate for the Liberal Party. And I have, Dave Augustine of Pelham, who was my other mayor. He was caught in a big scam with his mother. I don't know what happened with it, but he was caught in a big scam when he was mayor here in developments that are going right across here. Properties that were equal to his mother's property that were sold went for about 200,000. When it came to his mother's property, it almost went to $1 million. The developer said that that's a kickback. I don't know what happened with that. And then the CAO they had hired in Pelham, as of recent, ended up getting charged with pedophilia charges and I believe assault and stuff. So again, people, here you have the freaking politicians, pedophiles. We need to make a change in Niagara West, and we need to make it now. Now's the time. We will be reversing everything and repealing everything these degenerates such as Bill 195 and all these other freaking stuff done. And I'm not going to hold back this time. I'm going to let Sammy Oosterhoff have it because I told him when he was elected, which I knew he would because it's a conservative riding, I told him, don't listen to Ford. Don't be a yes man. And he was exactly that, a yes man. He's done everything Ford's told him. And hell, while you were all at home because you were locked down, he was partying with no mask with about 30 people or so in a store and or a restaurant or whatever the hell you want to call it, tavern, whatever. And they were having a gay old time while you're trapped in your home. Bunch of BS. There is not one law for me and one law for thee. The Canadian Constitution says the law applies to everyone equally, and it's time for us to stand up and fight back. Voting for the same four parties over and over again is the exact definition of an insanity, and this is why history repeats itself. Wake up, people.
All right, thanks for that little tirade, Stefanos. Derek, watch your back, man.
Sorry, I didn't want to go on a tangent there, Ed, but this kind of stuff really freaking pisses me off.
Oh wow! So, who's Walter Sedzik?
Walter Senzik is another left-wing nut job, freaking piece of garbage, Antifa scum, commie cum. Oh, I won't even say it, but he's another liberal retard who is the mayor of St. Catharines. Another total garbage. St. Catharines is a cesspool of liberal Antifa commie losers. That's who they are.
That's all they are. That's all they are.
That's all they are, my friend.
Did anyone else read or hear that Moore, Top Doc, Ontario, went for a vacay after he locked us down?
Yeah, did you also hear that Moore has shares and everything else in Pfizer? And of course, they're the top doc of Ontario, which is a clear and definite conflict of interest.
I don't know why. How is it that can go on? Like, that's crazy, isn't it?
It is, Ed. It's crazy. And, some people in comments are making light of the whole thing. But seriously, at the end of the day, we have to understand what's going on in our politics, our politicians. Traditionally, Niagara West is a conservative riding. You can literally put a turd from a dog as the candidate, and it would win. And this is why, in the last election, I told everyone, if you think you're going to get anything different than what you have now, you got a better chance of picking up a turd from its clean end. What's the clean end, people? You're going to get this garbage, this crap, no matter what. The people need to wake up. They're all WEF puppets, you're right. Even worse than that, they're all pushing the UN agendas. UN Agenda 21 is provincial governments and municipal, and Agenda 2030 is the federal level. They're all pushing the UN, the WEF, the EU, the UNESCO, the UNHCR. That are all the UN. These are all branches of the UN.
Dang.
Yep, history repeating itself. Say again, Derek.
This one?
Can't hear you.
Oh. How you gonna pick up this turd?
You don't pick up turds, Derek. You just flush them down the toilet.
That's right. Flush them.
Well, I'm sure he's gonna be getting sued soon. I heard.
Who?
Trudeau.
Yeah, probably more than likely, and to Benoit or whatever your hell your name is. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but did we ever go to school? Yeah, we went to school. How do you think I got my diploma for paralegal? Just printed it out just magically.
So a lot of people like to step on the third.
Can you put that comment there from Joan Sharp up just before this one? Yeah. So they have 16,000 children under the age of 16. Sensic doesn't care. Let me talk to you people. Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys. I said you people. That's supposed to be. Isn't that what Don Cherry got screwed over for? But put it this way. Homelessness is money for every single municipality.
Oh, yeah.
They use it. They do nothing to help it out. And all they do is use it to beg the government for more money. And that particular video that you got up right now, or that screenshot, I posted that a few days ago on my Facebook. People had no clue about it, but this guy can't do simple math. We're in deep trouble. That's why he said the budget would just balance itself magically. Some freaking thing. Forget the math, forget everything else. Spend like there's no tomorrow, but that budget is going to balance itself. All the while, when you guys get your universal basic income, where's that money going to come from? Do you think they're just going to print it out? No, it's going to come out of your paychecks. Wake the hell up. You're going to pay for the money that they're going to give back to you and how much they end up keeping for themselves. It's when people who are working, when you end up having all your taxes and all the garbage out, you're at about half your paycheck goes away to these scumbags to give out to all these other countries to fund wars that have nothing to do with us. Just remember that. And they don't provide you with services. They don't provide you with squat. They're stealing your freaking money, period. Taxation is theft.
Derek, can you play that video or what? Can you play the video?
I have it on my Facebook. If you can't,
I just wait for the commercials to finish.
So much easier.
Okay. So tomorrow we've got Angela Argentina. She's going to be talking about healthy eating, detoxing, and actually some yummy recipes, and basically improving your health. So that's coming up tomorrow.
Bear Berry brings up a good question here. She brings up a very good question. How can Trudeau be passed off as a math teacher if he can't even do basic math? Sorry, Derek, I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead and restart.
I have a slight learning disability, and it's not one that any teacher ever told me about. It was never addressed. It was never responded to. And I only discovered it while I was doing my Bachelor of Education, and we were going through the different possibilities of learning disabilities, and all of a sudden I realized, holy smokes, that's me. And it's not a big one, but it's definitely there. I am dysnumeric. What that means is I have an inability to handle small numbers and little calculations, those easy things that people do so well. I mean, 13 plus 14. 27? Under pressure, it's even worse. So, I mean, if I pick up numbers and try to do it, I have a hard time with it. It means I can't remember telephone numbers.
I can't listen to him anymore. It's just so stupid. He's making it up by the seams of it, you know, just to make people feel better.
Yeah, look, he can't remember a phone number. But anyways, when he goes through this stupid problem of his where he tries to say all these stupid shit, the answer is 6. Like how, you know, if you can't even remember a phone number, you can't freaking do simple math. What the hell are you doing as a prime minister? Get the hell out, you sack of garbage. You know, I'm going to get kicked off the show if I get any more angry.
Yep, 233. No one knows that it's coming, but you know what? I don't know what even to say about it. It's socialism at its finest, guys.
Hey guys, do you even know that they reintroduced the Foreign Influences Act? I bet nobody has a clue about that. And that is giving politicians in other countries the power to say what goes on in Canada. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my goodness. Jason, you know, I think his cousin has spoke up about the pedophile tendencies or the pedophilia he's involved in. So, yeah, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, Shanghai Day population, they're starving people right now as we speak. What's going on?
If you all think that everything's going to be fine, you know, we got a provincial election coming up in Ottawa. Not because I will be running in it, but I'm going to tell you this. There was already an article about Randy Hillier and his deal with Ford. Thank God his party could not get registered. He did not have support for it because he was exposed. Even though I was speaking about this well ahead. As I keep telling everyone, you can follow politics religiously, but unless you're in it, you will never truly know what is going on. And thank God, or it could be a curse, either way you look at it, I know what the hell is going on.
Is he frozen? Do we have to hit the button?
Yep.
Oh no, okay, we don't have to. We're good. Whew.
Oh, okay. Thank God I made it back in time. But as I was saying, Roman Baber is another one. Remember the Jabs for Jobs bill, private members bill. He's one person. He's going to get no support. So what did he do? He took that as a PR campaign stunt, had the firefighters standing there. He's another one that has a deal with Ford. Don't be fooled, guys. Do not be fooled. And actually pay attention to the colors of signs because many parties try to take the colors of the signs. Don't think it's one party automatically because of the sign color. That's how they snipe votes. So be very careful on that. Um, you know, do your due diligence. Look at the party platforms. See what resonates with you and go with that party. Don't go just because of sheep voting and vote for a party just because it's something other than liberal or something other than NDP. Because at the end of the day, all these 4 parties that are elected in office right now are exactly the same. So you're going to vote for a communist or you're going to vote for a communist. Time for change is now, real change. Go for a different party because we are screwed.
Or start a new party yourself, but even then, that's hard.
Well, new parties, historically and statistically, any new party that gets created never gets elected into office on the first year. That's set in stone. So, Joe, you're asking about Sloan. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The People's Party of Ontario. They are the ones who voted for critical race theory in the schools. So that tells you automatically they are with the agenda. They're pushing the same garbage. They are there simply to pick up the votes of people who are abandoning the PC Party of Ontario and want to go somewhere else. So they pick those votes up so the Liberals and NDP and the Greens don't pick them up. And that way it keeps Ford in power. That's a strategy politically on the inside. You can't split the vote either. That's another strategy they use. You cannot split the vote unless you have the vote to begin with. Let that sink in.
Trump's going to prove voting is rigged. He's got lawsuits going on right now, doesn't he?
He does, but you know what? Don't pay attention to American politics right now because we have elections in Ontario coming up. That's where you need to concentrate and make a real change in Ontario. We get the same garbage, any of the four in, we are done. We're finished.
So you got an evergreen. Where'd it go? So you got an evergreen container sitting on a development site about a block away from my house. I drive by and I cringe. Yeah. So what? It's sex trafficking going on, or there's a. I don't know. I wonder what's in that container. Any ideas?
No idea.
You really want to go ahead? I don't know.
I'm sure Pat King would tell us.
Oh yeah.
Well,
We know what's in there. We just don't want. It's just a sad thing.
We've all seen the what was it, the Walmart boat or the Evergreen or whatever they were saying was child trafficking. I don't think they would have child trafficking in middle of development. They would be dead and it would be stinking quite stinky right about now. So I don't think that's the case.
I think maybe they never painted the evergreen container.
Rob Proban, we've already had Stephen Garvey on the show before. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but we did have him on. And just a little more. Here's a little food for thought. Don't think that 5G is going to kill us, and it may very well kill us because of the amount of EMF it gives off. Sorry, but just remember, when you turn your radio on in your car, internet, microwave, internet, wireless, cell phone wireless of every range, we are getting the hell bombarded out of us from EMF. Could be wind turbines. They give off a great amount of EMF also. So it's not just one thing that's going to do us in. We are being bombarded from every single piece of technology, from your wireless sex toys that you're using to your Bluetooth earbuds to you name it. We're getting the living piss irradiated out of us, period, whether you're 5G or not. So just remember that. Teresa, unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Every election, you always see new parties being registered. Everyone thinks they have the magic bullet. At the end of the day, it's the people who make that up. Um, Good example is when the PPC party came on board with Maxime Bernier. Maxime Bernier, when you hear him speak, he speaks on a libertarian level. Why? Because Maxime Bernier originally was a liberal, or sorry, a libertarian um, uh, party member on the federal level. And then he decided he would jump to the Conservative Party where he figured he could make change on the inside, but he's the one who actually signed Canada onto the UN garbage. And all the history is out there. Do a search, educate yourself. You can't hide the political history because they were there. And then eventually, he lost the leadership race. Then he made his own party. Um, and here we are today. When Max speaks, he speaks 100% libertarian. Um, did he get elected? No, because history and statistics have shown over and over no party that is created ever gets elected. It takes a long time to get yourself up there and get yourself elected up front in the public. And you'll, I'll admit, I backed Max. I actually was one of the signatories to get his party elected, or sorry, not elected, but registered. Um, and look where we are. He didn't do good the last two elections, and that's that for that. So, proof's in the pudding. You'll never get a party that is just created elected. And it takes a lot of hard work, many years, um, and it all depends on the people if they want real change or not. Period. Uh, you have to get out of that cheap voting. That's why I call it cheap voting. It's not just on the left; it's on the right, it's on the center, it's everywhere. Well, you're absolutely right, Jason, and that's what I'm talking about when I say sheep voting. It's people that need to get up. Personally, I'd rather have libertarians elected, but at the end of the day, anything is better than the four we have now. And until people realize that, we're screwed. Max, when he created his party, he came to the libertarians and wanted to merge. Obviously, that didn't happen because there was a glaring difference between the two parties, and it just didn't happen. People have asked me with the new blue. I love Jim Carahalios. He's a great guy. I love what his wife is doing in provincial politics, but I've seen this stuff over and over. Jack McLaren is a glaring example of what happens when you're a member of the PC party and you actually represent the people. A fine, upstanding man who done his job as a politician as he should. And when that piece of garbage who's running for leadership of the Conservative Party federal level right now, Patrick Brown, he promised us the world. I had Patrick Brown hugging me and telling me, "Oh, Stephanos, I could have not done it without you, brother." He was crying. He had tears coming down. Give me a back off government shirt. But guess what? Once that piece of garbage scumbag, that little twerp, what is he, 5 foot, 4 foot, whatever he is, little puke. Once he got as the party leader, he turned around, done a 180, attacked private property rights, attacked landowners, attacked the people, and was pushing the narrative. You cannot trust these piece of garbage career politicians. He was a no one. He was a backbencher. They had benched him in the federal party, so he jumped to the provincial party, used us, the Ontario landowners, to get him elected. We flew him all over the freaking place in the province to sell memberships for that little scumbag because he promised us things and he turned around and screwed us over. Same thing with Pierre Polyev, another guy who's going to milk you all. He's going to freaking deceive you. And once in power of some sort or another, he will screw you, period. He was supposed to run in the last conservative leadership race when O'Fool got elected, but they had too much dirt on him and he was threatened with it and backed off. So these are the things you don't know unless you are directly involved. So you got to really wake up. Leslyn Lewis, the other candidate for the federal Conservative Party, she's backing BLM and everything else. You know where that goes. Do the research, people. Research. Because if you don't know, you will never know. And then you're going to get side slapped right upside the face, just like Doug Ford done to everyone else and went against everyone, destroyed your lives, your livelihood, your business. Is anyone even aware that the provincial government of Ontario came out and said that they never imposed a vax mandate in Ontario? That's skirting liability and placed it on the businesses. And like I said to the businesses, they should have band together and sued the provincial government because they cannot make something that creates a liability on private property. And business is all on private property. And this is why the provincial government came out now and said, we never imposed a vax mandate. That was voluntary. So now you business guys are stuck if anyone takes you to court. And we've seen that happen in the guy with the guide dog. The business owner got charged criminally. And I will tell you right now, he is going to get the living crap suit out of him. So business owners out there, wake the hell up. Stop following this garbage. Sue the freaking government. It's cheaper if you get a whole bunch of people together and you sue the government for imposing that on you, something they do not have the authority or the jurisdiction to do. And if you don't do anything, you're going to get screwed, not them.
Okay, so thanks for that, Stefanos. Just give you guys a heads up for tomorrow. We've got Angela Argentina coming in. She's going to be talking about healing foods, cooking a few cooking demonstrations, and talking about detoxing and all the good stuff we need to do every now and then. So tune in for that.
Friday, actually, at the end of the show, I got RC's premiering his new music video, so you might come on for a quick little bit and introduce his new song.
Oh, nice.
Hey, can I be on for that? I just love RC as much as I love Chris Sky. I love to be on with both of them. They're awesome people.
Actually, I had RC using my PA system when he was demoing an new song out in Ottawa during a trucker rally.
Awesome, man. You have a very good PA system. I can testify to that personally. And hell yeah, guys, we got to push this stuff. I don't even care if I'm on the show and I say nothing. I just want to see them.
Yeah. All right, cool. And who else do we got coming on Friday?
Friday, I'm still working on some people myself, but I don't know if you have anybody lined up.
So we got Dr. Gurgis coming on next week, and he's going to be ripping apart another Pfizer drop, translating it for us. Yeah. And, God bless him that he takes out to do these things for us. So again, guys, more information coming at you. The truth. Pfizer's own documents. We'll be ripping that apart. I know you're not going to like what you're going to hear, but it is what it is. You can share the videos out when we do disclose it. And again, with Dr. Gurgis, surgeon for many years, I think he did do a year or two of biochem or something biology. So he knows what he's talking about. He knows how to read these documents. I'm going to get him to translate all that mumbo jumbo that they put in these documents. I can't make heads or tails out of it. But he'll be showing us how to read it and looking at all the stuff. And it's going to be another, I can't believe they've done this to us, show again.
Jody, where you're saying how we can trust the voting system, this is where scrutineers come in. And I don't know where you live, but hell, if you're in Niagara area or anywhere around there, jump on board, be a scrutineer for me. Then you can make sure the votes go where they're supposed to go and not just tossed or disappeared. I'm looking to build a team down here in Niagara West. You don't have to be from Niagara West if you want to be a scrutineer and stuff, but I am looking for scrutineers. We're still looking for candidates. Step up. It's not a tough job, people. Read the party platform. Go to the the Libertarian Party of Ontario, their website. There's a candidate forums there. There's all sorts of stuff. Get involved. Get involved in your politics. Do not sit back and let these dictators steal your life from you, because that's what they are doing.
Yeah, we got to get busy. You know what? I think we should do a show on how to register to be a scrutineer or an election worker. And let's give people all the information they need. Get active, get involved, do something.
Yeah, sitting back waiting for someone else to take on that fight, it's not going to do anyone good. Everyone rather sit back and wait. So, email me, do whatever you want, get involved. I don't care what party you're with, get involved.
Antifa likes to do it.
Not only Antifa, but the NDP and their unions, they're very...
All right, so you got one volunteer stepping up. I don't know if I mentioned it, but there was 2 people in the chat talking about how they know direct in-laws are bleeding behind the eyes because of the jabs. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet. Oh, man.
1 hour later.
Play the French when it works better.
A few moments later.
Come on, Stefanos, unfreeze. He's probably going to stay frozen the rest of the show. Anyways, guys, Angela Argentina tomorrow. Healthy cooking, healthy living, detoxing. And I think she mentioned she's going to make a chia pudding or something live on TV.
Awesome. It should be interesting. And just email me if you want to be a scrutineer or whatever. Email me. Get involved. Go to the party website. If you want to be candidate, go for it. It's not anything difficult, people. It's actually a lot of fun. So go for it. Don't be scared.
We're gonna have to do a show. Maybe I can get someone on from Elections Canada.
Or maybe. Don't forget to donate, guys. We're crowdfunded. We got to pay studio fees, internet, and all that stuff to keep this show going. Help us keep it going. You can donate today at derekstory85@gmail.com.
Derek needs a new commie hat.
Yeah, I know. I do, eh?
If you got time, can you throw up my email so if people want to be scrutineers or get involved in something, they can contact me.
All right, will do. There it is.
All righty. We're going to play us out, Derek.
I will play us out.
And if you find value in this video tonight, guys, share it out. Put it on different platforms. Let's get this information out there. Have a good night.
God gave us light, but somebody hit the breaker. Lost in the dark till I met my maker. Fighting for peace while I'm here on God's acres. Love thy neighbor. I don't even hate haters. They say don't be violent in the face of my traitors. We can talk about it later. My savior came in flipping tables. I'm a crusader. My heart is my anchor. The angels are crying and smearing their makeup. You dance with the devil, I march to their cadence. Feeding my kids with the fruits of my labor. I paid all my payments, I'm all out of patience. Don't save all your statements, you say from your basement. I stand on the pavement and fight for my people against you dictators.
Hear the cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of. I put my armor on. Hear the cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of.
I stand for what's right, even if I stand alone. I'd rather be losing this battle than winning while fighting for something that I know is wrong. Known all along, I have a purpose, gotta reach my people. Ain't no common ground on the battlefield that we're standing on. It's a war going on of good and evil. I'm a crusader, screaming my prayers. I'm hoping that God hear my word and find favor. Speaking my truth and my tongue is a razor that open the wounds, leave the devil disabled. I'm standing in light, so the darkness around me, my heart keep on pounding, the trumpets are sounding, I'm not backing down, and they counting me out, but I just keep on counting.